We are back, guys. Welcome to the show. Another week of MOHAVE County Football Talk. Another good week.
Another good week.
We had a couple of not surprise games, but we had some real standout games. A lot of fun stuff to get into. It's pretty fun being in the swing of things here. I mean, we're not quite to the midway for everybody, but we got a pretty good lay of the land, and it's shaping up to be a really fun year. Especially in that 4A conference locally. So.
Absolutely. Had a couple upsets this week. Had a game go into double overtime that we'll talk about later. You got to go see Desert Star play. I got to watch Lee Williams and Prescott. Lot to talk about.
I got to go watch Desert Star. I'm driving out there, and it looks like hell's coming. I'm driving out there. If you went out that way.
Right.
And it's just the fields. There's nothing. And I just see lightning in the mountains as I'm pulling in. And I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to drive all the way out there. And this thing's going to get lightninged out. And so get there. I missed probably the first series. And they get through most of it. And right before half, I believe, lightning delay. Yep. And so there's not a lot out there. You got people scrambling to their cars and things like that. And created kind of a funny environment. And they brought it back out and put that game together. And
found a way.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool little intimate environment out there. So a lot of fun out there. And you got to watch some games.
Yes, I did. Very excited. One thing I will say, wacky score of the weekend. Combs beat Paradise Honors 2-0 on a blocked punt.
A legitimate 2-0 game?
A legitimate 2-0. Everyone on a blocked punt. Everyone believed at the time that it was like, oh, they must have forfeited or something. No.
Oh, that's immediately what I thought. Yeah. I thought, they just put a number up there to let them know who won. But pretty wild, a 2-0 period, let alone off of a block punt.
Right, yes.
I can only imagine that film session.
Well, let's start talking about our game of the week from last week. Prescott visiting Lee Williams High School. And from the get-go, Lee Williams ran the ball well, dominated this game from the beginning. We did find out that Prescott's starting quarterback did miss this game, but everyone else at Prescott played, and Lee Williams looked good from start to finish.
So let me just tell you, with my football expertise, I was 100% wrong about where these teams were in their season. Lee Will came out and was dominant from the jump, really a 29-3. Even so, say the quarterback's in there, you put up 29, that's a pretty dominant performance, especially in high school football. And Lee Will appeared to be the team that's in midseason form versus Prescott, which is not what I predicted.
The Lee Williams team that showed up on Friday night, if that team showed up at Lake Havasu, probably would have been a different game.
Yeah.
But no, it was their defense played
home
great.
Cooking? They like playing at home or what?
Something like that. Prescott's only drive of the game was benefited by 45 yards of pass interference penalties. And even then, Lee Williams kept him out of the end zone, forced him to kick a field goal at the end of the half. But Lucas Lease played great, 32 carries, 235 yards and a touchdown. Bryson Vaughn added a touchdown. Morgan Quinn had a touchdown pass to Cooper Cronk, 2 receptions, 19 yards. Cooper Cronk also added an interception. And our play of the week this week, Mr. Cronk.
Play of the week, Big Coop. That's his new nickname. I just gave it to him.
Big Coop, yep.
Go ahead and play that one, Jeff. But really a great route. Outran the coverage, got contested, goes up, gets the ball, big touchdown, and is our play of the week. Check it out right here, guys. Well, I know that quarterback can say, ooh, I got a lot of green out there. I'm going to keep it down there somewhere.
Runs the corner out.
Play that one more time, Jeff.
Yeah. It's great route running.
I appreciate him making it a little harder. He made that pick six look pretty easy. Made some defender. Get a little competitive catch in there. And but play of the week, congratulations. And congratulations to Lee Williams on an absolutely great start to the season. And we kind of talked about the way the season plays out. They've got a road trip to Flagstaff coming up. Sounds like Flagstaff might be down a quarterback. They're struggling right now. They're 1-3. Lee Will's in the driver's seat right now. It's theirs to do with what they will.
Yes. It is all in their hands, and I'm definitely excited to see them keep playing.
Yep.
So moving on to our next game, Mojave and Coconino, this was the only game that you and I had different picks on.
My emotions betrayed me again.
Yes, and thanks to this game, I now have a 1-game lead.
Yeah, you do. And unfortunately, Mojave's, their Achilles heel got exposed in this game, and it is that they are thin. I believe they were down 4 or 5 starters. I couldn't get a clear picture of who it was. Sounded like some young guys stepped up, made some plays, kept the game competitive.
4 of those 5 being guys that play both ways.
And that was just too much for them to overcome. I saw some video. The guys that played tough, but Bradshaw got out early and just they couldn't come back and overcome that deficit. So
right, and that's something that we talked about. Coco's a very good team. They lost by 2 to Snowflake, who a lot of people think very highly of in the 4A conference. Yoni played solid, 17 for 32, 204 yards passing and a touchdown, 14 carries, 199 yards rushing. Tristan Urias added 15 carries, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
So I think one of those starters that was out was Jeremiah, who's a big piece on offense and defense. And Tristan Urias has stepped in, and I don't want to take nothing away from him, but looking like his brother out there.
A little bit, yeah.
Really, that family has always been good with the ball in their hands. Tough runs, strong kid, and done a great job. I think when Jeremiah comes back, that's a great 1-2 punch that you got to lean into. You got to keep the ball in his hands, even if Jeremiah's maybe the bully back. You gotta keep those guys involved, especially as you're talking about keeping guys fresh over the course of a season.
Right.
You're already dealing with some injuries, things like that. That's going to be how Mojave goes is going to be how their health goes, because they are very talented. They play good ball. They're experienced, but down 5 guys in high school. It's tough to overcome.
Definitely extremely hard to overcome.
Yeah, lucky for them, they get a home game this week, and they always seem to enjoy playing in the field house a little more. So I wonder how they enjoyed that elevation.
Yes, definitely. Coaching in Flagstaff, playing in Flagstaff, it's a different world. That extra, even someone that lives in Kingman, that extra mile up.
So even in Kingman, I feel it, and that might be because I'm getting fat and old. But I remember telling guys when we'd go play up in the mountains, it's not that bad, you're going to be fine. Takes a minute to adjust, and then I'll find myself on the sideline and be like,
I still remember we used to
yell too much, I'm out of breath,
I still remember when I was coaching at the academy, we would start every week 1, we had the NAU game. We would play Borgade Catholic at NAU, and I remember one year we had a high-tempo, fast-paced offense, and we'd go up 14-0 like that, real quick. And then these kids are coming to the sideline, huffing and puffing, just like, and I'm just like, oh no.
It is a big difference. It does. I remember. even just I laughed because we went up there and I think the ball's overinflated going up in elevation, or I just remember being an issue. We're scrambling around trying to get all the balls aired up properly. It's amazing how much the elevation plays a role, and especially being, the lone 500-foot elevation team in that conference. It's a little bit of a not fun experience. And then the opposite, they come down here, climate controlled, no outdoor anything.
Indoors,
So a little bit of home cooking going the other way. But tough game for Mojave. They look to get back on track, stay in that competitive conference, stay in the hunt there. So takes us to our next game.
Kingman versus Shadow Mountain. This game, Kingman lost 22-20 in double overtime.
Double overtime. Man. You don't hear that very often in high school, and obviously you had some interesting statistics. It sounded like they statistically controlled the ball, did what they wanted, couldn't convert, couldn't get what they wanted out of the game.
Statistically, Kingman dominated this game, 331 yards of offense to Shadow Mountain's 101. What hurt Kingman was giving up short fields, which led to easy touchdowns in the first quarter, a 7-yard return after a muffed punt return, and then another 10-yard touchdown drive after a shanked punt. So,
so special teams will haunt you. One of the things I've noticed is how many teams are struggling to get PATs off. We watched enough football to have seen it where your PATs, and if you're in a close game and you can make kicks and you can't, that's a difference maker. It changes the math of how you have to play your game, situational football, especially if you can't count on a PAT.
It is definitely a difference, especially here where more than half of the 8 teams that we cover go for 2.
Yeah.
Like obviously in 1A it makes sense because kicking field goals with only 6 guys blocking, a little hard.
Yeah.
But like Kingman has always gone for 2 the last few years. The Academy goes for 2.
Well, I'll tell you, Mojave's been spoiled. They've had great kickers. This is going on like the 4th or 5th year. They had Preston and Parker, and now I think they got AJ kicking, who a little lefty, and he just boots the hell out of it. But they have, even with good kickers, you still have to have a good long snapper. You have to have good hold. You have to have all these other variables. And they've been pretty fortunate to have a good kicking squad for the last few years.
People don't realize the amount of variables it takes to have a good field goal unit.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, you have to block well, the hold, the snap. Getting
All
good
of it.
long snappers is, I think, the most crucial piece of it.
Yeah, it's a great way for big guys to sneak away and get out of some of the conditioning and drills if they go over in long snaps, so just so you guys know.
D'Anthony Bush had a good game, 6 for 13, 90 yards passing, touchdown, interception, 23 carries, 117 yards on the ground, and a rushing touchdown. They came back in the second half to tie it up, went to overtime. Kingman, so overtime in high school, you start at the 10, you get 4 downs.
Yeah.
And you can choose to kick a field goal on 4th down.
I love how football can't decide on overtime rules.
Yes, it's
like
3 different.
Each level is different.
It's different.
You know?
Oh yeah. But yeah, so
Ridiculous.
Kingman, four plays, didn't get in the end zone. Decided not to attempt a field goal. Didn't get in the end zone on 4th and goal. Shadow Mountain attempts a field goal on 4th and goal, and their side of overtime gets blocked by Kaylor Thomas. Goes into double overtime. Shadow Mountain scores, gets the 2-point conversion. Kingman scores immediately. D'Anthony Bush passed to Davin Concepcion, and then Bush is stopped just short on the 2-point conversion, giving Shadow Mountain the win.
So I think when Kingman looks back on their season, this game's going to haunt them.
Definitely.
Especially with the amount of yardage and ball control and the way that you gave up points, because, you know, that puts them at 2-3, going into a very tough game against River Valley. That is not going to be a fun game. River Valley's playing really good ball. They've made some really interesting adjustments we'll talk about during their game. And then, you know, they got Odyssey, a very winnable game. Dysart's tough. I think Wickenburg's probably. And then they got Blue Ridge.
Yeah, ending the year at Blue Ridge.
They're going to look back on this game and
Yeah.
go, that's the one that got away.
Yeah.
And hopefully it doesn't impact playoff or seeding, but, you know, we'll see how that goes. But you got to win the winnable games. And this is one that was very well within their grasp. But I think this one's going to come back and going to haunt them.
Right. And this is something we talked about on our preview show. It's like Kingman schedule is littered with 50-50 games.
Yeah.
And they have
This
won
is
some.
about as 50-50 as you can get going
Yes.
double overtime and 2-point difference. So, yeah, tough one for Kingman. Shout out to those guys for battling tough. I mean, that's the nature of football, though. Bad breaks, overcoming adversity, and somehow finding a way. You know, you're in overtime and 2 points away from being a whole different story, and that's really, you know, that's football for you.
Yep. So moving on to our next game, which you got to see, Mountainside versus Desert Star. Mountainside won 26-18. We both picked Desert Star to win this one. Came up just short.
Came up just short, and to be honest, they battled back late in the game, started getting some stops, and with respect, the team they played was huge. I mean, they had a 6'6" kid playing on the D-line. You know Desert Star's young. They're a little undersized. And they battled and battled, made that game tight. And they got no break either this week coming up with Parker. They've got what's shaping up to be a really, really tough schedule. Mountainside was a pretty good team. They ran a little bit of 2-quarterback. And I know that there's a couple plays that are just haunting the defensive coordinator. Coaches, gave up a long touchdown pass, but they've been pretty good in the defense. And that ended up being the difference. And late in the game, it got to where they had to play a little panic. They had to play a little urgency. And unfortunately, that's not really where they want to be and how they want to play. And they really had a tough time against that very surprisingly big Mountainside team. So,
Yeah, Mountainside's a fairly new school, just in Whitman, just north of Surprise, not very far from Wickenburg. Talking with the Wickenburg coach, it sounds like a lot of their athletes have been taken by Mountainside. This is their 4th year of existence now.
Cannibalization of sports in that part of Arizona start.
Yes.
Which we're all seeing everywhere. excuse me, you know, the more schools, same amount of kids.
Yeah.
It's inevitable, but you know, Desert Star really battled, played tough, but that was a little bit of a tough one. But I really thought that they, you know, played really well considering the athleticism that other team brought. And again, lightning delay in the middle. I believe it was their homecoming, so you have all that distraction. You have a rushed homecoming in the middle of a lightning delay, or right after they come out of lightning delay. Short halftime, trying to get back on the field. Just I'm sure it was all the, if Coach Clark had hair to pull out, he would have been pulling out his hair over all that extra crap in the middle of your football game. And not the homecoming stuff. I mean, the delays, the rush, all that stuff. If you're a football coach, that stuff simply adds layers of your preparation, things you have to prepare for, things like that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
tough one for the Desert Star boys.
So moving on to our next one, Lake Havasu visited Alhambra, and from the get-go, this was Lake Havasu's game. 63-7 win over Alhambra. The return of Havasu quarterback Trip Burke, 4 for 6 passing, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also, Deshaun Castro, 5 carries for 89 yards, touchdown.
I think we have a clip there.
We have a couple clips from this game.
I'm sure Havasu's pumped to have Trip Burke back. I'm going to miss my boy Halo.
Yeah.
there,
Halo
Big
did not
Bennett.
play. He was sick, talking with the coaches.
Man.
Yeah, so he had to miss that one.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a good one to miss because they were in control the whole time. Really a dominant performance. And Havasu is in the driver's seat of their destiny.
Yes, very favorable schedule. Part of the reason why I picked them to go 8-2 this year is how favorable that schedule looks.
You did a great job
Yeah.
researching that
All
schedule.
right, so here's Trip Burke,
Boom, just that
touchdown
easy.
pass.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
He's like, man, this is easy. I can do this all day.
yep.
Yeah, really just a simple concept. Get it in your guys' hands. Young man made a catch, made a hell of a play, turned it upfield, and looking back, nothing but touchdown.
We also have
so.
a defensive touchdown from this game.
Yeah, I like this play. Your boy holds him up. You just go, yeah, let me go ahead and
Trying
take
to
that.
fight for extra yardage, and
Yep.
then
Oh,
whoop.
oh,
But this ball's live.
yes. And you know, by the time they knew it was happening, and honestly, good on the officials for not blowing it dead. They seem
Yeah.
to be a little early whistle happy at the wrong times, it seems like. But yeah, Havasu looking good. You know, that Lee Will, I would argue, was a 50-50 game for them, and they won that 50-50 game.
Yeah.
They're going to look back on that one very favorably, and they're in the driver's seat. They have a couple very winnable games. Their conference has some very winnable games, and they seem to be really hitting their stride. Getting your quarterback back, obviously there's a reason why Coach had that young man there as the number one, and then you get your athlete, Halo, jump back out there, making catches, doing other things. He's a big, athletic kid, so I'd imagine that is where they want those
yeah.
pieces.
And definitely the good news with Lake Havasu early, it's like Gila Ridge is 3-1. They beat them. Lee Williams is 3-1 now. And the more games these teams win, it's just going to improve their strength of schedule, which will help with the PowerPoints when the playoff rankings come out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and you know, you really hate to rely on the PowerPoints, things like that. Just keep winning your games, man. I know that I've seen it over the years where teams that you thought were really good teams didn't have the right formula or vice versa. Keep winning those games, and that's what Havasu keeps doing. So they, Kofa, Buckeye, excuse me, Deer Valley, Yunker, Australia Foothills, Somerton.
Yeah.
I mean, they're staring down a pretty great season. And even that loss to Mojave was a tight, contested game. Could have went either way. So that might be the
24
one.
team playoff in 4A. The top 8 schools get first round buys.
Very exciting.
Definitely very
Congratulations, Lake Havasu football. Really putting it together. Like I said, I didn't watch this game, but I have watched them twice now, and they have to be happy where their defense is at.
Yes.
I mean, even giving up some points happens in high school, but their defense plays tough. Gave up 7. I mean, the defense really was a difference maker in that Lee Will game. The pick 6 is where some of the points came from for
Right.
Lee Will. So
The thing that
Havasu's
impressed
going to
me,
be fun to follow this year.
definitely, the thing that impressed me with Lake Havasu is Havasu appears, as of right now, to have the best passing game of the 8 high schools we cover.
Yeah, they are not afraid to throw it.
Yes.
I'll tell you that. It seemed like, even like I said, we talked about having your backup quarterback in, and they did not veer off that game plan. I
No,
mean,
they did not.
They put the ball in his hands and they flung it around, and luckily you got some guys out there making plays. Pretty good receiver group, and seems to be their formula. They're going to ride or die with it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, so moving on to our next game, Chino Valley visited Kingman Academy, 38-8 victory for Chino Valley. We don't have any stats, neither team posted stats, but the score is very interesting because just the week prior, Chino Valley hosted Desert Star and put up 60 on them.
Yeah.
It is interesting to see that it appears that the Academy defense has improved a little bit, and part of it might be because it was in Kingman, not in Chino Valley. That's always a factor, these road games, especially at the high school level.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit. I'm sure some of these mountain teams are not pumped to come all the way down here to play
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours. Normally they don't drive that far. I mean, it's double the time that they're used to travel to any of those other teams. So,
Right, definitely.
did you hear? Was it a better, a more civil game, or was it more of the same?
From what I was told, they were still throwing the ball late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, well, I can live with that,
Yeah.
but no cheapness, no.
It was a little cheeky, definitely cheeky. Talking with my friends at the Academy, that is the word that I heard. It was still very much the same old Chino Valley. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is funny and unfortunate, excuse me. And again, you know, it takes a little bit of time to kind of shake out the old habits and the old culture. And, you know, maybe that is their culture. You know, you hope, but because we all know it's going to end up biting them in the ass at some point in their competitive football time. If you're catching penalties, facing suspensions, things like that, unfortunately, that's playing with fire.
Yep, absolutely. Moving on to our next game, Valley Lutheran versus Malk. I believe it was Malk's homecoming. Malk wins 50-0. Raylan Crambrule, 3 for 3 passing, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 carry for 19. So, you
What a
know,
stat line.
a perfect QB rating.
What a stat line.
And then our player of the week, Owen Honninger, 2 receptions, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns.
What a stat line.
What a stat line.
And welcome back, Owen
Yeah.
Honninger.
First game back after missing the last 2.
Boy, I'll tell you, the kid's dynamic. I'm glad to see him back. And the stat lines are almost kind of funny.
Yes.
I mean, you give me two touchdowns, give me 100 yards. Like, that's a pretty wild one. There's some great video and pictures. Get Active Media put someone must have had them come out and film their homecoming game. And I love all that stuff. They got Coach Gibson in there screaming in the locker room. They got, you know, some of the big guys, some of the sideline shots. And I'll tell you, those kids love that stuff. And it's a lot of fun. Someday they'll look back on those videos and it'll remind them of all those experiences. And it's good to see. So congratulations, Malk. Big win. I ended up not going to watch any football on Friday. My brother ended up coming in town. And but to be honest, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because that sounds like it was over early.
Yes.
I want my $8 back or whatever it is.
Right.
I want to pay per quarter that I stay from now on. So
Then our last recap of last week, Saturday's game, Odyssey Institute visited River Valley. And from the get-go, Nathan Bush opening kickoff return touchdown. And River just dominated from that point forward.
who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
56-6 victory for River Valley.
I know we had speculated about, you know, Odyssey being improved, things like that. But this game went exactly as I thought it would. I would speculate that River Valley has been probably the most consistent with the least amount to show for it in terms of their wins, losses. They're coming into all their winnable games here. Even Seton Catholic looks like they're not quite the team we thought they were.
Yeah.
That Dysart game at the end of the season might be the
Pace
more pivotal
and
one.
that last Freedom game of theirs, Payson is
Yeah.
undefeated right now.
Payson is tough. They're another one of them, you know, southeastern run
The
heck
White
out
Mountains,
of the football.
yes.
I do want to give a shout out, if I can get in my phone here, because I keep butchering this stuff, but I keep getting a lot of input and information, and I'm actually I want to talk about it a little bit and get kind of your thoughts too. River Valley got hit with a senior broken collarbone. Mikey Gonzalez was suspended 2 games, not 1, for the punch he didn't throw, which send that to the AIA. They can they can suspend me for 2 games. But they've had to be very flexible in their offense. And they moved. We saw Deacon Maish play tackle.
Yep.
We moved this young man here, Robinson, played some of that blocking back, which
Ethan
is so
Robinson,
crucial
yes.
for River Valley's offense to go. I mean, they really overwhelm you with numbers, and that guy is usually the number tipper. That's the guy that kind of puts it in your favor.
He is the tip of the spear for that running game.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm really enjoying, obviously, coaches do it out of necessity. Players who step up and do that thing are exactly what you need to be a successful football team. So you have someone jump into, I know we talked about him last week, playing center, covering for the senior center who was
With
out.
Alvarado out, yep.
And doing a great job. The young man jumping in that lead blocking back role. Deacon jumping into tackle. And they just rolling.
Yep, they just rolled. Aiden Montgomery added 3 touchdowns. DJ Garmin's had a touchdown as well. I'd like to talk about Julian Uribe, freshman, got a chance to play his first varsity action. 2 interceptions and
We're
1.
90% sure that's not how you say that last name.
We're fairly
Uribe.
positive.
We're sorry, though.
We're
Uribe.
sorry. We're sorry ahead of time.
We said that very Caucasian, my friend.
But 2 interceptions and his first rushing touchdown, first varsity touchdown. Congratulations to Julian on a great game.
And that's how you want those games to go. You want to get up. You want to get other guys experience.
You wanna
get
unload
your
that
guys
bitch.
off the field.
Yes.
Getting even in a game like, Oi or whatever, Odyssey Institute. I'm never gonna not call them Oi. That's where you can get some of those guys' feet wet without exposing them to a lot of risk. I don't care what anyone says. You play a tough, mature team, and you put a 14, 15-year-old kid out there, there's some risk involved. I posted a picture on my social media the other day of that Eastmark game where we went down and played Eastmark, who either won or went to the semifinals or lost in state. I think it was my son's freshman year, and he was still just turned 15 years old, playing against 18-year-old kids who played in college the next year.
Right.
And by the end of that game, we had 6, 7 kids pretty hurt. And that is a very risky proposition, high school football. The athletic difference from some of these bigger schools with older rosters. And so a game like that is very crucial to getting young kids experience.
It is something that people don't talk about enough. Is like in college, there's gaps with athletes and such, but in high school it's even more so because you have true freshmen playing that probably would be JV players on other teams starting against a guy that might be going to Alabama.
Right. Yeah. Poor John Williams. We would play teams, and we'd move John around, and they'd put some young kid in some spot, and here comes John Williams, running a mid-high 4 at 230 pounds, and he's just playing ball.
Yep.
And this poor kid looked like he got hit by a truck.
Yep.
And that is football. That is the risk in football. But when you can control those circumstances, put kids in situations to where they can be successful, gain experience, it's a much better formula. I've said it for years, and I know these guys didn't appreciate it when I told them. I told my son, I told the class behind him, I wish I didn't have to play you as freshmen. I wish I had someone better, because you need to develop the right way in the right environment, things like that. But the reality of football in the area is not that. And so those kids all had to jump in and learn by trial by fire. And it's not what a coach wants to do. But I think, for the most part, kids that make the most of it. But really glad to hear that young man got his opportunity, got a touchdown, had some moments, and did it on the big stage. So.
Yep. Congrats to him.
And by all means, tell us how to say your last name.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, now we move on for our picks for next week. And we will start with Kingman Academy versus Mountainside, the Thursday night game. I believe we have that.
We're getting a
poll.
lot of Mountainside here.
Yep, so Mountainside is the favorite for the public, and I agree with the public. I think Mountainside will win this one. I think it will be a closer game.
Yeah. Boy, this is kind of a tough one to gauge off of our normal metric of who they've played, how they've played them.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna lean towards I'm going to give Kingman Academy a shout out here. I'm going Kingman Academy.
You're going Kingman Academy. Okay.
River Valley's probably a bad barometer. Is that fair to say?
I'd say so, yeah.
But Kingman was dominant in that game. So I'm going to give Kingman Academy, lean on their athleticism. Hopefully they have enough film to learn. And I got to pick up a game on you, so I don't have to buy you a steak. So I gotta take some. I'm playing from behind right now. I'm 2 scores down before
taking some chances. Yeah.
I gotta take some shots. It's a little early, but I can't wait to get behind.
Yeah, we still got 5 weeks. All right. So yeah, moving on to our next game. Lake Havasu is visiting Kofa in the city of Yuma. The people really like Lake Havasu, and I really like Lake Havasu too. Kofa has won 2 in a row.
Listen, can we see who voted for Kofa? I want to know who voted for Kofa.
I want to know what that
With
one.
respect.
I want to know that one vote for Kofa. I agree.
So first of all, Kofa won their first game in
3 years.
3 years.
First home game in 8 years.
But then won another one.
And then won another one. Yeah.
So I mean, they're 2-2. They're looking up. Havasu traveling to Kofa.
Yes.
So that is a rough travel. I have not played at Kofa, but Havasu's rolling. Havasu's actually getting right. They seem to be healthy. And I think this is a tough one for Kofa. I'm going Havasu. I don't think it's going to be close.
I agree.
hope. Listen, this is a game where if Kofa goes and wins, those 2 wins are no longer kind of, oh, good for them. They're, oh, Kofa's on the map. So hopefully they make it a game, but I'm taking Havasu.
It has been cool to see Kofa rebuild because the last 2 years they were in 3A, and
didn't
they
win a
got
game.
smoked by everybody. We, coaching at Kingman, we played Kofa twice in a 2-year span, and those games were not close from the get-go. 40+0 blowouts.
Right.
But to see them come up to 4A and winning games it's impressive to watch.
Yeah, we would get, I do Athlete of the Week for Findlay in the paper, and I would get some of the stats from teams that played Kofa, and I'd be like, yeah, but it's Kofa. I mean, they're pretty bad, And so, legitimately, shout out to Kofa for turning it around, getting some wins, being competitive, but not this week. Havasu got them.
Yep, Havasu will take care of business. All right, so moving on to our next game. Mojave Accelerate is visiting Sedona Red Rock, the most beautiful high school football field in all of the state. I will fight anyone on that. Yeah. And people like Mojave Accelerate. This is Sedona Red Rock's first year back after a 5-year hiatus of not having a football program. They're currently 0-3 with a forfeit in there too. Just got beat 56-6 to Williams last week. Their first home game in
Williams
5 years.
Is nasty, so we'll
Williams
give them that one. I think that Malk is a different team if Honegger plays. I think that they are probably getting better. I know some of those uglier early games, Torres was out.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I believe he's been back in. I think.
I believe he did play a little bit last week. He showed up in the stats a bit.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're fairly healthy.
I did an Athlete of the Week out there, and they said that he was a force in that game, even though he was not necessarily all over the stat line. We know what a big athletic player can do. I'm taking Malk. I don't think the Vortexes are going to help Sedona enough to make a difference.
The views, I don't think the views will help Sedona's defense either, but it'll be.
Maybe you'll catch Malk staring, taking in the scenery and sneak a few. But I think this is Malk's game to win, and I think they go up there and win it. So
I concur.
My son's watching, Shane.
Yeah.
Shout out to your son.
my baby boy.
Oh, hey Ben.
I'm gonna go see Benjamin. I didn't tell him, but I just booked flights for the 3rd, so I'll be out in a couple weeks, and I'm very excited to see him. I hope that he gets his ankle clear, and then I hope that we can go find a cool pumpkin patch and eat lots of food. So
Sounds good.
Western Pennsylvania in the fall is like my favorite thing on earth, so I'm really excited to go out there and see my baby boy.
That's awesome. So moving on to our next game, Lee Williams is visiting the Sky Dome in Flagstaff. They'll be playing Flagstaff High, who, sadly, their stud quarterback Chase Brown tore his ACL after tackling a guy during an interception return last week.
Every coach's worst nightmare is your quarterback going and making a tackle and getting hurt. And unfortunately, you hate to hear it. It sounds like Flag was struggling a little bit anyway, but losing any quarterback is tough. Losing a talented quarterback, it's tough for that next man up to step in and fill those shoes. Curious to see how they go about it. I think Lee Will's rolling.
I think Lee rolls rolling. I think Lee Williams will take care of business. I have Lee Williams winning this one.
You know
and
what I really,
so do the people.
Yeah, you know what I really like about where Lee Williams is at right now is they are developing complementary football. You know they want to run the ball. That kid Lucas is, I mean, he's a workhorse. He's getting all the carries. Kind of reminds me of some of those old River Valley backs. Where you see those stat lines, 25 carries, 200 yards. But then you have, you got Cooper Cronk out there. You got some guys that are going to do some things. They got a good kicker. My buddy's son kicks, soccer player, shout out Flummer. And that's complementary football. That's coming together.
I know Flummer's grandpa. He speaks very highly of him, yeah.
I bet he does. And that is what you want going down the stretch. You got a tough O-line. You've got Big Shane out there. And as you get into football, conference football, you can't be one-dimensional. And that's really going to shape up well for them. And, we kind of talked a little bit about, I got to get onto their schedule, but they're in the driver's seat right now.
They're in the driver's seat. This is a favorable schedule from here on out. Probably
knocking off Prescott was
huge,
a big one.
A big one.
Especially when that conference seating starts laying out. So I'm going Lee Will on this one. I think they go up there. Unfortunately, Flagstaff's not going to be able to move the ball. They're going to play that aggressive defense. They're going to, be in a good field position. They play fundamentally solid. I don't think it's close.
Yep. I agree. I think Lee Williams will take care of business and win this one. And I do have to say, I have to eat my words. I picked Lee Williams to go 5-5 this year. They are clearly much better than that. I am sorry, Coach. I'm sorry.
Well, and I'll tell you, I don't even remember what the hell I picked them. But it's coming together there. It's really a beautiful thing. They are playing good ball. And like I said, me on the outside looking in, they are setting up really well with the rest of their schedule, getting better, gaining momentum, and playing complementary football. Right. When you are reliant on one aspect of your game, it's tough to win against good teams, especially good coaching. And the way they're shaping up is you're going to have to pick your poison. Like on that, play of the week, there's no reason why there shouldn't be some safety help there over that kid, but I'm guessing they're running the hell out of the thing. And
yeah, the play-action game was efficient against Prescott Friday night. They ran the ball so well, just gave the chance to give Cooper one-on-one chances, and that's what happens when you put him one-on-one.
Absolutely. So, again, we talked about this at the beginning of the year, how fun it was going to be to see how this season played out. And you've got a Havasu team, you got a Lee Will team. Mojave's still 3-1. Going into the conference play, which makes that very interesting.
Malk has won 3 in a row.
Yeah, Malk we knew would be tough. We just needed them to get healthy. It's exciting.
Yep.
Very exciting, and we're excited to see where it goes. Especially the possibility of some local playoff games.
Yes.
That is the best atmosphere you're ever going to get. So hopefully this plays out. Somebody gets to host a playoff game and represent the area well. So very cool.
Can't wait. So moving on to our next game, Parker is visiting Desert Star. Now, I don't know about you, Coach. I have a history with Parker. The word hate is a strong word, but I hate Parker.
Yeah.
I am 0-6 in that town in baseball and football games that I have coached. And it's different from Chino Valley. I hate them because they're good, they're well coached. They have been running the wing tee for over a decade there. The only difference they've done in their wing tee is they went shotgun for a couple years because they had a guy that could throw the ball, and now they're back under center. They know what they are. They onside kick every kickoff, and they will always find a way to get at least one of those onside kicks, and they will own the clock for 10-plus minute drives.
Parker is historically tough. They have been a 2A powerhouse. They came up to 3A for a year, I believe.
Had a rough year.
I think we
still
beat the brakes off
You beat
them.
the brakes off them. I had to visit them that year, and we lost that game 12-6.
Yeah.
And that one hurts the most because that was the deciding factor on whether or not Kingman would go to the playoffs that year.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. Desert Star has got really no breaks in this thing. They got a tough run of stuff. So I actually don't, it's easy for me to jump around some of these conferences. I don't want to jump into 2A and finding competition. I don't know who Parker has played, but Parker's tough. That's going to be a tough one for Desert Star. I think they're struggling a little bit to settle in, find their identity. I think they want to be a balanced attack, but if they don't get the running back going early, it's kind of tough. They really want to. I think their number one receiver is still struggling a little bit with
small injuries.
Being a little banged up. I think it's a tough one for Desert Star.
I agree. I have Parker winning this one.
Yeah, tough one for Desert Star. And again, we keep saying this because it's worth mentioning. They are young. They are in the middle of a legitimate high school schedule with, I believe, 0 seniors.
Yes, 0 seniors. They will not have a senior night this year. They only got 4 juniors.
They should have a senior night and just have nobody. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It would be one of the funnier things you could do.
Bring out someone's grandpa.
Yeah. Senior night, and here are our no seniors. So it would be super funny to see. But again, talking about groundwork, they have a great group of kids. They're playing good football. Like we talked about it when we went and watched them play. They're running the plays properly. They're doing the things right. They got Mitch out there, so those kids are going to get bigger, stronger, faster. They bring up a really talented, I think their middle school is really good. I think they just had another big win.
They did have another big win. It is, we get the standings every week and the points for and points against, and it's us and Desert Star going back and forth on who scored more points so far this season.
So the future is bright at Desert Star. They are going to be a lot of fun in that division, in that conference in the future. They're going through some tough growing pains right now. And, I was out at that game, and you can hear a little bit of the frustration from the kids, the parents, and I would simply urge them to understand where they are at in the process. I don't know that they have experienced that learning curve yet. I think they have been good in their youth teams. They have been good in their middle school teams. And you're in high school football now. Everyone is proud. Everyone has a head coach. Everyone has. And once you get your athletes up, stay focused on your off season after the season, and develop your bodies. Get ready to go. The one thing that drives me crazy is seeing a kid leave as a senior with the same physique he came in as a freshman. Get your butt in the weight room.
Yeah.
Put on 15 pounds. I promise you, you're still going to be fast.
Yeah.
Add 15 pounds of muscle, which is not as crazy as it sounds for a young man, and they're going to be good next year.
Yeah, they will. They're going to continue to grow and get better. It's just important to remember, they're playing with a couple less cards than everyone else that they're going up against. Yep. I still remember when I was coaching back at the academy, we played Lee Williams my first year ever coaching. Lee Williams played a varsity schedule with just freshmen and sophomores, and they found a way to squeak out 4 wins.
Yeah.
But it was tough, and they had some games where they got beat up pretty badly. Yeah. I recall River Valley put up 60 on them their first year of varsity football.
Yeah. That is the reality of things. And what you want to do is find yourself in a situation, let me rephrase that. You want to find yourself in part of the situation that Mojave has, where you have a heavy senior class with that middle school group that came up. What Mojave's lacking is they don't have the middle school group that came up behind it. Right. They got what they got, and then they are trying to grow kids in a hurry in high school. Desert Star doesn't have that. They've got a really good middle school group.
Yep.
They've got a good group now with 0 seniors. So next year, you've got seniors, you've got juniors that played last year, and then you've got middle school kids coming up to support.
You got another batch of freshmen.
And that's what it should look like. And so I would simply say to those parents, players, even if the players are frustrated, trust the process.
Patience.
It's coming together. The wins will start showing up on paper. The wins will start showing up if you stay the course. That's the key.
100% agree.
Yep.
So moving on to our next game, Bradshaw Mountain is visiting the Anderson Fieldhouse to play Mojave.
We just call it the Fieldhouse.
Yeah, just call it. Oh yeah. Okay. Good point.
Excuse me. They are visiting the Fieldhouse, and I'm thinking Mojave no matter what. I wish I knew the health situation of those guys. I don't believe Pedro played. I don't believe Nathaniel played. I don't think Jeremiah played. I don't know if Tony played at all or if he left in the game. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to overcome against whoever you play. And you just don't have, in years past when they were hurt, they were still able to overcome that with the level of competition they played. I don't know a lot about Bradshaw. I believe they're 2-2, correct?
They are 2-2, but losses to very good teams. A last-minute field goal to Snowflake.
Who's tough?
Who is tough, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to have to bring a good game. You know, the upside being you get to play at home. I know those guys like playing at home. That is their comfort zone. And, you know, Mingus beat them 59-0. A 3-point game to Snowflake. Beat Independence by quite a bit. Lost to Arcadia by a bit. So, unfortunately, it's really tough to make much out of that. But if Mojave's not healthy and they don't have their guys, it's a tough game regardless. I'm taking Mojave. I think I told you I'm taking them blind all year. You just put me down for the rest of the year. Mojave, W.
I will be taking Bradshaw on this one. I believe in their head coach, Bob Young, who's been one of the longer tenured coaches in the state. Was at Sedona for a couple years. Before that, he was the Mingus head coach, won 2 state championships at Mingus, made it to another one. Very good coach. I believe they will take care of business in the field house come Friday.
Well, we will see how that goes. I'm sure that at some point I'll get a bunch of messages about who's healthy, who's not, or whatever it is.
Did the public take Bradshaw or Mojave in that one, Jeff? Nope, not that one.
Oh, sorry.
That's me being up a game.
It's good coaching.
Yeah.
Let's see. There we go.
They did take Mojave. Okay. Close. It was a close one, though.
Yeah, that is a close one.
Yeah. All right, so moving to our game of the week, River Valley visits Kingman High. Kingman had a very tough loss last week, as we know. River coming off a good, solid win against Odyssey.
Oi. The Oi.
The Oi. I think Kingman's going to give them a tough fight, but I think River Valley's going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good game for Kingman. I think that they're going to have to find – they're very fundamentally sound. I think that Deacon is going to be an absolute problem for DeAnthony Bush, and he hasn't really shown a lot of other wrinkles. I haven't heard – I don't know who's going to take the pressure off of him on this River Valley defense. And Deacon's been unbelievably good on that edge. The rest of the team has been really rallying behind it, and they've shown a little bit where they've let Deacon have some flexibility where he goes in different positions based on what they're doing, how they're going to do it. And then we know offensively, River Valley's going to overwhelm you with the run. We talked about the adjustments that they have made, putting guys in positions. They do get Mikey Gonzalez back this week. So that actually gives them a little bit more size, senior.
Still don't know the status of Alvarado yet, whether or not he'll play.
I believe Alvarado's collarbone. So he's long-term out. I hope he can come back and have very similar to like my son and have a playoff game or an end-of-season game. The kid's been really good for the last, 3. I don't know if he played his freshman year or started.
He's been, from what Coach King's told me, he's been a 3-year starter.
Yeah, he's been an absolute dog, and I love the kid. He's a sweet kid. He's not very big, but he plays the position really well. And so it's very crucial that they got that other young man step in there. Do you recall his name?
I do not know. But it is funny you talk about that, not a big center, because if you look around the area, a lot of these schools, the centers aren't very big. Like Kingman's guy, Kenny Whitten, is a skinnier dude, but great center, one of their better offensive linemen. Same with the Ian kid for Desert Star.
Well, Noah and I at Mojave lost 20 pounds or so to play backer and hasn't skipped a beat at center.
Yeah.
So he's done a great job, but in terms of linemen, he's undersized. And those centers are so crucial to getting the offense moving. And so I think that River Valley is going to do more River Valley stuff. They're going to run. And I think it'll be a little too much for Kingman to handle.
They're going to run the ball well. They're going to play good defense. It's going to be a tough one for Kingman. So, yeah, I think.
And unfortunately, it's not much of a trip. So you're just going up the hill.
Just
It's not
going-
like you get a real. If anything, you get a little cooler weather. They're probably pumped on that.
That's everything. Like the Bullhead teams, they enjoy going to Kingman.
Yes, it's great.
Lake Havasu enjoys going to Kingman.
Yeah. Especially this time of year. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually cool
Yeah.
in the evening. It's football weather. I'm really excited to watch Mojave come home. I'm trying not to be a super annoying guy. I'm, like, watching film and highlights, and, you know, I want to be like, did you guys think of this? You know?
No comments. No comments.
But, yeah, it's really fun. It's fun when, you know, we have these teams playing against each other locally. I think River Valley's played good ball all year. I think Kingman needs another piece to not rely on the quarterback quite as much.
Right, I agree. I mean, they have 3 senior running backs. I think the key is we can get one of those 3 guys
Absolutely.
more carries and get them to explode
So
onto
we
the
got 3
scene.
senior running backs.
They also have the kid who showed up against Monument Valley, Logan Jones, who's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
He's going to be
Where
a
are
really
they
good
playing when
player.
they're not handling the ball?
They are playing wing back. They're playing blocking back. Kingman has a gun wing T offense. They run the ball a lot similar to River Valley.
Yeah.
Not as tight end heavy, I would say. But they'll use multiple running backs.
Yep. Well, I'm guessing that the clock's going to run really fast in this game. I think
Yes.
we're going to have 200 rushing plays in this game. Not a lot of throwing the ball
I think
around,
this
so-
game will be a lot faster than the River Bowl
Yes.
or
I
that
think
Lake
so,
Havasu
too.
Lee Williams game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, should be a lot of fun. Having a lot of fun doing this, man. It's fun to kind of stay around the game and get to see some of these teams a little bit closer than just seeing the scores. And I encourage people to, man, go actually sit in the stands, buy a ticket, and watch a game. A lot of really good kids, a lot of good teams. And at the end of the day, they're all a bunch of high school kids playing ball. And so if you're in Kingman, go buy a ticket, go watch whatever team you like to watch. Go out to Mojave Valley Park.
Right. Thing I have noticed is the varying ticket prices. Mojave Valley Park, only like $6-8.
Yeah.
Fieldhouse, 12.
Yeah, don't get me started. That doubleheader game, I bought tickets for me and my daughter, and I'm like, this is a little ridiculous, you know.
So
Especially
you
with the
had to
stupid service fee.
You had to buy
know.
2 tickets?
Oh, me and my daughter.
But like for both games.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They make you leave.
They make you, oh my gosh.
So even if I bought 2, I couldn't just stay in there and eat snacks. I had to leave. You know, like, Mojave played second. I like watching the guys warm up. I like to see what they're doing. I like, you know, that was all,
Right.
you know, part of the process when you're a coach. And so, yeah, they make you leave. They charge you another ticket, which is fine or whatever, but pretty annoying. Also, I wish they would just decide, are we doing cash or are we not doing cash? I was so aggravated. I
like-
want to go to that one game and they're cash only. And then you go to the next one, you have to,
Yeah.
you know.
So like I know Kingman, Lee Williams will do cash, but then Kingman does the Go Fan thing, and so does Mojave and River at the field house. Desert Star does cash. I don't know what Malk does. I'm assuming it's cash. Lake Havasu
I think you have to-
does
oh,
Go
shoot,
Fan
I
as
don't
well.
know.
Yeah.
I know when I'd go watch indoor games, they would take cash. So I assume that they do for football also. I'm
You would
not
think,
sure.
yeah.
It's also kind of tough too because a lot of these fields, you can just stand in the parking lot and be watching the game, and so you're like, here's my $8 to stand
Yeah.
here versus here.
There are some fields in the area that there's better advantage. Like for example, Lee Williams, downtown Kingman's very hilly, and they have this great hill
Yes.
that can oversee the entire football field at Lee Williams. That people
Right
will
behind
park
the
their
visitors.
trucks. Yes, right behind the visitors, where they'll park their trucks. They'll put their little chairs out.
This is
There'll be-
I don't know if it was those folks, but so last year we're in that game. Joe breaks his collarbone. You can hear every 2 cents those guys had to say up there. You smell all the cigarette smoke, and you're like,
It's more than cigarette
"Come
smoke.
on." It was more than cigarette smoke.
They bring coolers to the game.
Yeah, and so you're sitting there and you're like, come on, man, what are you doing? So it's pretty annoying. I'm not sure I wouldn't necessarily sit there and watch a game from time to time, but like the yapping and
It's-
the
I've watched a couple games from up there.
non-cigarette
It's,
smoke. Was
I've watched a couple
bit
games from up
much.
there. It's a good time. I know a few of those guys. They're great
So
people.
I went to the Desert Star game, and you know, I walk up, and football's a very emotional game. But that game is not emotional for me. I just want to watch the football.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there trying to sit with all the families and whatnot, and they're very into it. And it's really tough because it's nothing but a piece of yellow tape separating that sideline
Yeah.
and those bleachers. And so
More
you
of
got
a-
like kids trying to process what the parents are saying.
Yeah.
They probably shouldn't be. You got coaches trying to coach. You hear everything these coaches are saying. And so I ended up just walking around to the other, sitting on a light pole out in the opposite corner and just trying to watch the football.
Right.
And it's really tough. And the field house is the same way.
Yeah.
You're right
You could
over
argue
top of.
the field house is worse because they're on top of you.
Yes.
They're going down. At
really
you.
rough.
Yeah.
And if you ever, there's a reason there's space
Yeah.
from a sideline
Yeah.
to where the fans are. And so it's kind of tough. And I am a very emotional football guy. I mean, when we coach, we're very, very excited.
Yes.
We call it passionate. But when I'm just watching, it's really hard to, hear someone scream something crazy. You're like, that's not actually what happened, but I
Yeah,
get it.
it's-
you know.
I mean, it is different watching the game as coaches compared to fans, parents, family members, brothers.
I don't know when, but at some point in coaching football, it's hard to just watch it as a spectator.
Yeah.
You want to, I'm the worst to watch an actual football game within my house because I'm rewinding it back. I'm
Yeah.
showing you what I saw. Why didn't they do this? I wonder what they saw there. I'm watching Broderick Jones not block anybody in the Steelers game.
Right.
And so to just go out and cheer is really tough now. I completely understand when it's your kid out there, it's your team, you're invested in the win, you want, it's so emotional. But it's hard to sit there in the middle of that and just be analytical or watching.
It is. I'm the
X's
exact
and
same.
O's.
Like I'm watching Thursday night. We're at Chili's watching the Thursday night football game, and I'm watching on my phone. I have Rice is playing Charlotte, and I'm watching this game, and I'm replaying it back and forth. Dad's like, "Why are you watching Rice?" I'm like, "Cause Rice has like this shotgun triple option offense, and I think that's cool. I am an option savant, and I see the game differently."
Speaking of option, what'd you think of the Lions running that fullback option to win the game against the Ravens?
Oh, that was a great play. That was awesome.
I follow this guy on Instagram. Great follow I know your coach is on Instagram.
I am on Instagram now, Mitch J527 at
So
Instagram.
Coach
yeah.
can join us in the
Unbelievable.
Instagram shenanigans.
Yes, I finally pulled the trigger.
But there's a great follow on Instagram. He probably has a Facebook too. Coach Dan Casey. You ever
Yes,
seen him?
I know Coach
Great
Casey.
follow.
Follow him
Within
on
20
Twitter,
minutes, he had that play broken down. He showed where Coach Dan Campbell ran it when he was a coach on another team, and then showed when like Michigan ran it in the black and white days. And it's so funny because you see that play, you're like, God, I've never seen that. That's amazing. And then you're like, oh,
It's been
this
been
is
around.
old.
It's
This is old coming new again.
It's the interesting thing about football is everything has been tried.
It's
at
very
least
rare
once.
you find something legitimately new, and it's a lot of fun.
Like,
I really enjoy it, and if you're a football player and or coach, I really recommend you follow that Coach Dan Casey guy.
yeah, great follow on Twitter or Instagram.
Breaks it down. I think he even sells play.
Yeah.
His thing is he writes a play a day,
Yeah.
and if you think about it, just in the most simplest of terms, that means you're learning to play every day. Your playbook's huge at that point, so a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what happens. You got any player of the week predictions?
If I had to pick a player of the week, I have a feeling that we're going to hear a lot about how Lucas Lease does in the Dome
Yeah.
on Friday.
So what's the surface in the Dome? Is it old school turf?
It is AstroTurf, yep.
That's not a good time.
It's not, but it's kind of an interesting thing now. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but like, especially in northern Arizona, there's not a lot of grass fields left. I mean, because you guys play turf, Rivers turf. Malk is grass.
Yep.
Desert Star is grass for now.
For now.
Kingman and Lee are grass, and that's not going to change anytime soon. They like the
Yeah.
grass. And then
I
you
was
got like,
really disappointed. We went up to one of those games up there, and when I was a kid, a long time ago, went up and played. It might have been Coco or Bradshaw, and they had this beautiful grass field. We had this shitty grass down here, And I remember like doing your pregame stretch. You do that hamstring or quad stretch, and you lay back in that grass, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. You know,
Right.
cool actual grass. Reminded me of Pennsylvania. And then we went up, you know, when I was coaching a few years back, and it's turf.
Yeah, Coco's gone to turf now.
Yeah.
Flagstaff plays at the Dome, turf. I believe Mingus is turf now. Bradshaw's turf. Prescott's turf. Like, I think like Chino Valley is the only school left in that area that
Yeah.
still uses grass. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's the old school in me, but
Yeah.
is that a water thing? Is that why they do that?
I think
Or-
part of it is to save money on water. Very possible. Water rights.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. You got to keep the water. Got to keep it here. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I think we're going to get a really statistically eye-popping performance out of someone in that River Valley Kingman game.
I agree.
If Kingman is competitive, DeAnthony's going to have to be amazing. And I think River Valley is going to, I think they're going to be pretty dominant.
It's interesting about River Valley because like every week it's a different guy on offense. One
They're
week
sharing
it's
the wealth right now.
one week it's Garmin's, one week it's Montgomery, one week it's Mickey.
Yeah.
It is a
They're sharing the wealth right now, which is, you know, something River Valley has not done very well because they've had some real bell cow backs
Yes.
who, like we talked about, what you see in Lee Will, 20, 30 carries a game. They're not having to do that right now. And I think that when you get down in the season, you're going to find out who has the hot hand, and you get into a tough playoff game because their conference is tough.
yes.
I mean, there's some really, really tough games, and you're going to have fresher players, and that's going to be really big. What I'm more concerned with is, you know, they got Big Talon playing some defense, Deacon playing both sides of the ball. You already lost Alvarado. Luckily, Mikey is back, but that wear and tear on the big bodies isn't always seen the same way. So hopefully they can continue getting big leads. You know, I think they're probably the most likely team to make a playoff run out of this batch right now.
I would agree. I think the 3A is definitely a weaker conference than it has been previous years.
Well,
It's
moving some teams around out of 3A.
only 30 teams.
Yeah.
Like 6 and 4, you're going to the playoffs in 3A.
Yeah.
And it's the 2A schools. The 2A schools we cover, not looking very likely. We'll see either of them in the postseason. It's looking possible right now that we might have all 3 of the 4A schools in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's possible.
It is a 24-team playoff in 4A, so it is very possible we see all 3 of them make it.
You know, and we had talked a little bit about at the beginning of this thing where River Valley is going to have that nasty Seton Catholic game. Now, the other thing is, so they're 5 games in. Now all your transfers can play. So we'll see what the Phoenix 3A world looks like
Yeah.
if they magically pop up with 6 new players on the
Seton
roster.
Catholics in Tucson.
Yeah, so they very well could. Yeah. I mean, we've seen it out of all those Tucson schools, good and bad. But
Yeah.
and I
That's the
believe
good news for Rivers,
Push
'cause
Ridge is out of Tucson.
Pusher's out of Tucson.
Sabino.
Sabino's out of Tucson. Yeah. Tucson has some legit teams.
What's the
And that's a
Micah
drive.
Mountain?
Micah Mountain, yep.
Yep. I mean, they've got a ton of talent down there. And so if you are which all due respect to Sabino, they're having a little bit of a down year. You know, when they had their best years, they had a bunch of kids that open enrolled and went in there and played. And so you might see a whole lot of different teams in the second half of this season that we don't see up
Right.
here.
It is
We're
something-
not getting a batch of transfers.
Yeah, it's-
Did you see that one? That school in California canceled their football program.
Yeah.
And all those
like
teams transferred.
10
to
of
Mesa
them
and
have now
somebody.
gone to Mesa now, yeah.
Yes. So that's the stuff you don't see up here.
Yeah, like no one's going to transfer into Mojave County School.
No. No.
Like the most we see, like in Kingman, for example, we might get a kid that transfers from the academy to Kingman or the academy to Lee Williams
Yeah.
or the other way around. And it's like
Somehow
one or two.
they always have
Yeah.
to sit for, and then meanwhile
Yeah.
you bounce around Phoenix schools and
Right.
you rarely have to sit. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that and see. Maybe you can put it out there in the Twitterverse and see if there's any notable transfers who are going to be starting to play this week. I think it's 4 games, 5 games.
5 games, yep, 5
Yeah,
games.
so this would be the week for 3A, next week for 4. But that'll have a big impact on, you know, Dysart might have some transfer possibility. Payson won't. They're not that type of
Yeah.
school. They're homegrown. But Seton Catholic is one to watch. And then obviously all those schools that they've already played.
It was an interesting rule change when they went from, used to sit out the entire season when you transferred, and now it's only just 5 games, which has opened this can of worms.
Well, and you have people who go, oh, it's just kids. What are you punishing them for? but it's not the things you think are happening.
Right.
You have guys who are, it's part of a big money, big
Right.
business system of, getting kids to schools and things like that. There's a great Sports Illustrated article talking about a couple years ago, if you've ever seen it, and it talks about the absolute craziness of Phoenix football and kids transferring, kids who have no means to speak of, but somehow catch a ride to school every day,
Yes.
30 miles.
Yeah.
It's really a great article. And so, yes, if a kid moves legitimately, has a hardship, you don't want to punish them. But you also have kids who are hopping from school to school, and it's not the same as a kid with a legitimate hardship.
Yeah.
They're chasing opportunities. They're, kind of burning bridges.
Right.
It's just, it's two completely different situations in scenarios that are governed under the same rules.
Right.
And it's rough.
Yeah, like there are legit situations. There is maybe a bad situation, you just need to get out of that school. There's your parents get a new job somewhere else. There are legitimate, but it's hard to find the truth.
Yep. Yeah, well, sometimes it is. And sometimes you have kids who's all these kids from California just transferred to the same high school in Phoenix.
It's funny, yeah.
Where are they all going to live? They all just
Right.
got family out there? Like they just nothing
Is
to
it
see
like,
here.
does Mesa, like Holbrook and Winslow, do they have dorms on campus? Yeah.
I don't know, but some of them are not that hard to see. And then if you transfer from out of state, I think it's a whole different set of rules.
Yeah, definitely different set of rules, yeah. Because we've gotten, at Kingman and my time at Kingman Academy, we got out-of-state transfers every year, at least one or two.
And in regards to those kids from California, if they canceled their program, then I don't blame them. If they have ambitions, I believe there are a bunch of them are ranked players. They have ambitions to play in college.
Right.
You got to go find somewhere to play.
I know one of those
understand
kids
that.
is a Texas A&M commit. Yeah.
Why don't you wish one of those rolled into Kingman? You
Right,
know?
yeah.
Give me a 6'4" A&M commit.
Yeah. That'd be
Give
nice.
me one of those. Come on.
I'll take
Yep. So, all right. I don't have anything else to go over other than a lot of great football out there. Go out, watch, guys. Thanks for contributing. If you see the show, share it, comment, let us know what you think, especially when you think we're right, not when we're wrong.
I will end on one last thing. We did get to play, I mentioned we played White Cliffs Wednesday afternoon after our show. We did win 32-0. We got the Kingman Cup back, which is the traveling trophy between the three Kingman middle
great.
schools. First time KMS has ever won the Kingman Cup, so it was really cool to share that moment with the kids. And season's going really well. Got a couple weeks till our next game. I'm excited. Hopefully we get to see Desert Star when the playoffs roll around.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Definitely.
I have not been able to catch a Desert Star middle school game. I'd like to see all this upcoming. I'd like to see it at all the schools, but Desert Star, with them being all one thing, what they call it, the alignment or whatever,
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier to do. And I would really like to see what that middle school looks like. And then knowing that every kid on that team comes back, how that integrates. There's so many kids out there who play good ball, and they're so raw. They're only going to get better with experience. Obviously, they were very fortunate to have Coach Regan, now Coach Clark. Really going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I think that having that alignment of middle school to high school is huge. Like, that is one of the nice things in the Kingman area is like KMS, 9% of those kids are going to Kingman High. White Cliffs, 9% of those kids are going to Lee Williams.
Yeah.
The academies, you could argue the academy's issues last year is that 90% of the academy middle schoolers aren't going to the academy high school. A good chunk of them are going to Lee Williams recently.
Well, we'll have to see the Regan effect at Lee Will because they are doing big things.
Yep.
What a turnaround.
And they are young, only 6 seniors.
Yeah, they what a turnaround, and they have a lot of football left this year. But I think at this point, what you've already seen is enough to know that it's heading in the right direction.
Absolutely.
They're not going to, but hypothetically, if they went 0 in the rest of the season, you could already see the groundwork of what's been built and what's coming in the future. And it's probably going to really shake up the Kingman football scene. If you're serious about football, you got to give them a real serious look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Fun stuff.
Yep. Well, can't wait for next
I'll
week,
see if
Coach.
I can get that injury report from Mojave. I need to get a hold of Briscoe. He always has the inside info. So.
Yep. Well, can't wait.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Also, shout out to Jeff. Jeff is going on vacation, put off his vacation to come in, produce the show for us. Then he had a camera die, and
We're using a drone.
we're using a drone.
You can pick it up now because it's
You
off.
got
Yeah.
this,
You can pick it up.
Yeah.
Show it off a little bit. Yeah.
You got this drone view here.
Yeah.
Somehow he rigged up this to the Wi-Fi. I don't know.
It worked.
This is this. Give me this. You got this camera?
No,
view?
the battery died.
Oh, lost it.
It lasted
yeah.
an hour. It lasted
when you
an
guys
hour.
were-
Anyway, this is how we managed to produce,
Yeah.
and that's why we got that lovely HD shot of my
Yeah.
gray
Yeah.
beard. So
All right.
appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
We'll see you back next week.
See you Wednesday.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right.
Have a good
cool.
one, guys.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
Out.